Welcome, welcome. Woo! Welcome back.
Welcome, welcome.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hello, hello, hello. This is where you say welcome.
Oh yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome,
Right,
Hot Shot Secret fan.
We've got storms rolling in from the right.
Moving right day and night.
And we're supposed to be powered by science.
That is very true.
We better be able to get two people on one show somehow.
A lot of hard work that went into this. You know, it's something that we've been chasing for a year and a half to try to get this truck in the threes.
We are live.
We are live.
And welcome to Facebook Live. Take one. It's an extra special episode.
We got Levi with us today.
Woo!
Woo!
Episode 150.
Thought I was really going to bounce on you.
No. Not this time.
Episode 150, we're going to be talking about racing oil today, and we have a special co-host today, Levi himself, who's either behind the camera or hiding somewhere, but you told us you will come on the 150th episode.
Yep.
And you thought that was a long time away.
And if it goes well,
And nobody
I'll be
forgot.
on. True.
So-
I actually volunteered, so.
Well, all the better. So happy to have you, bud. Good to have you on this side. So, any special questions today? Give Levi some hard ones. So we're not going to make his day easy. So why don't you kick us off the top? What are we doing here?
All right. Well, actually, we're talking about adrenaline oil, adrenaline racing oil, and also a special announcement, I think, a new article that came out this week.
Ah, that's right. That's a good one.
And of course, we're streaming live Facebook and YouTube. We have a weekly giveaway coming up. Hopefully it's the right winner this time.
Do we have a wrong one before?
Nah, it happens every so often.
Usually when you're behind
Every 50th episode.
every 50 episodes. All right. Do you want to tell them to follow anywhere? And
Yeah.
you got any web specials?
Not this week, actually. We're working on...
You have no web specials the week you come on. I was ready for some secret Levi.
Yeah, this is a
Live
special.
special.
Use code Josh's Way. We are working on Christmas in July, though.
Really?
Tentative. I hope this isn't live.
Oh, we're live.
I know.
Oh, we're live as come.
I think Kyle's pulling up the comments here.
No, I'm just trying to catch up because you're gonna hold it down today.
He's just checking his emails.
Oh, yeah.
Just go through old pictures. Oh, let's see.
We got Sam here. He said hello.
What's up, Sam? All right, so as always, we'll give away some stuff at the end of the show. What are we giving away today? A T-shirt and a banner? Oh, everyone always likes when we do that. Oh, we gotta well, come over and show the camera.
We got to...
You gotta put it right side up. So you can get a banner and a T-shirt.
Yeah, right here. This actual.
That T-shirt. So you don't care what size they are. Hope you're medium. So we'll do that here in the show. Remember, you can enter every single week. HotShotSecret.com/giveaway. And the one thing we haven't announced, we're back in the studio.
True.
It's been a long, long, long time.
Like
And,
50 episodes.
It's been about that. It
Almost.
feels like. But we've had a lot of construction going on here, and it was a lot around the studio here. So it's good to be back in here, so we don't have to sit in the lobby. But it almost forced it. One cool update. If you follow our social media, you may have seen earlier this week. We kind of announced it last week, but we had some special guests here this week.
True.
So Monday,
was the PRI Road Tour.
exactly.
We talked about the last couple episodes.
Yep. And then followed that was awesome having them here. We got some good video with them. So make sure you're following the PRI Road Tour, their social media pages. They are also going to do some filming with us and some of our sponsored pullers out at NTPA, the big one, the Bowling Green one here in Ohio. And then I think that episode will air after that. So they're kind of sitting on it until they get the rest of that info. But we got some really good interviews. We got Chris on tape saying motorsports was the greatest decision he ever made. True story. So So that was cool. And then we followed that up. Tuesday was
Stacey David himself.
the man himself. The dude's a legend. But and the most down-to-earth guy in the world. I mean, he's like your next-door neighbor. He really is just so cool and laid back. And so the Stacey David, his show Gears, came up and they filmed, and as you can see some of the photos they're showing. Levon was here. We had the S10 in, and just such a cool guy. They spent all day here filming, so there will be a very special episode of Stacey David's Gears coming up. Do we know when that's airing, Eric?
It'll be fall.
In the fall
Fall.
sometime. Yep. So we'll give you a heads up on that, but yeah. So one of the byproducts of having them come here was that we had to get stuff cleaned up real quick for filming, and it forced them to kind of open up the studio again for us. So that's kind of why we're back in here. I'm sure they'll
True.
cram stuff in it here soon. We'll have to be kicked back out again, but good to be back in, and really cool to have PRI Road Tour here and Stacey David all back to back and get that all knocked out. So
Yeah, not to forget Levon Miller himself.
Levon Miller himself, yeah, he actually spent 2 days here.
True.
He brought the family up. They stayed nearby, and so it was good having Levon in as well.
He's not that far away, though, but
No, I mean
There's an excuse
he's
to-
like an hour away, so
Yeah.
yeah, he just decided to make a couple days out of it. And he had to bring the big rig for the truck.
yep.
So halfway through the day, he just went out and did work in the truck and kept Fire Punk Diesel moving, and came back out and jumped on camera for us. So shout out to Levon. Thanks for helping us out with that. We appreciate that. But let's see, what are we doing today? As always, we're dual streaming here on YouTube and Facebook. I got Facebook open. Somebody watching YouTube for us? Little Bear, you got YouTube?
Jake, you have YouTube?
No, I got Facebook. You got YouTube.
Oh, come on,
It's all
man.
right. Well, if you were paying attention to Facebook, you said Fred Johnson said, "Hey guys, watching while prepping some more testing tomorrow before a NT event following weekend. Love oil, been working great in the 7.3."
Yeah, Fred's got a bad 7.3, and it's working. Hercules is in. What's up, Anthony Smith? How you doing, bud? We got a video up last week that's playing right now from the what was it called, the Party on the Mountain, and some really crazy racing out there. And Anthony was out there with Hercules, and I'll tell you what, Hercules was eating. That he was destined to win that weekend, and there were some fast cars. Unfortunately, some rain kind of came in towards the end, so we never got it in. They kind of split the pot, but it was fun. Austin was out there, helping Anthony out, and man, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he went on to, if Anthony's still in here, I think he won the next week, small tire, and then he even went to the finals or the quarterfinals in big tire the same weekend. So
Wow.
Hercules is dialed in. Do not mess with Hercules right now, because he's hungry.
We also
He's
got
working.
We also got a little shout out from Zach Hall saying, "Good afternoon, guys. Putting G56 fluid in my trans for this weekend."
Nice. Yeah, James Bruce says, that Levi, man, he is hiding that napkin. Yep. Dan Sullivan says it's nice, there's no more beep. It's true. You guys said that was the alarm? That's going to
Yeah.
drive Candy crazy up there.
I think she's used to it by now.
Yeah, she probably doesn't hear it anymore.
As long as you don't hear the forklift beep.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can drain that out. So, let's see. How about some new dealers? Who we got?
Let's see. We got, hopefully I have a graphic. There we go. Tidewater Equipment in Smithville, Georgia.
Nice.
Also K&M Repair out of Wisconsin.
Okay. And Tidewater, I'll tell you, I just saw your banner today. Your banner came in, so we'll get that shipped out to you. So we love doing custom banners for all our dealers.
Absolutely.
You come on board, and we'll do a send us your logo, just like send us your decal, Tidewater. We got your logo, obviously, so let's get your decal up here, and same with K&M Repair. We'll put you on the wall, and we haven't been in here so long. I have something to put up, but I forgot them.
Oh,
All this time, and I forgot them.
you had one job.
Send Eric into your office. He can go get them for you.
You want to go grab them? Right underneath my floor, there's some manila envelope folders. Just get stickers in them. But, yeah, isn't it called manila?
He said something
Vanilla?
else.
Manila.
Manila.
Well, they're a mess, but you'll figure out what's what. So yeah, so send us in your decals. We'll get you up on our wall. As you know, we did some filming. If you just saw some of the pictures from when Stacey David was in and when PRI was in, we purposely had the wall in the background. So so give some of our dealers and partners some love out there, and send them in. We'll get them up. And TV airings. What's going on in TV land there, Levi?
Yeah, speaking of TV, we have All Girls Garage coming up Saturday, and that's at 11:30 a.m., so not too early, not too late for a Saturday.
Depends how your set Friday goes.
True. Maybe you're still waking up or still falling asleep.
Long Friday makes a rough Saturday.
And
What
they're
are they
going
featuring?
to be talking about Gasoline Extreme.
Cool. Is that all we got this weekend? That's a slow TV week.
Looks like it.
That's all you got.
All right, folks. You got to find it then. All Girls Garage, 11:30 on Saturday. Gas Extreme. We're selling the heck out of Gas Extreme.
We are.
That's I noticed a lot of times when we come in, when I was taking the PRI and Stacey David guys on the tour, we have the racks out here from our pick and pull from the web order. So you guys either did just a crazy sale on Gas Extreme or it's just moving crazy because I noticed the shelves are filled with Gas Extreme going out the door. So
Yeah, shameless plug for Amazon.com. Gasoline Extreme.
like Amazon needs
get-
plugged,
I know.
really?
You can
Jeez.
get 3 packs.
Jeez.
Is that on Prime, Levi?
Oh, there is some Prime updates. Correct. Yeah.
Go ahead, give Amazon some.
Yeah, that's all for now.
That's it. Okay.
Jeff Bezos.
No, what do you say?
Oh, yeah.
I got it. He's on a roll. Yep. Got the engine out, freshen up right now, and doing some upgrades. Hope to be faster. Thanks for the shout out. Anytime, Anthony. Yeah, I'm telling you that car is just working right now, man. And he runs. Good timing today. He runs our adrenaline racing oil. So we'll make sure you get some fresh adrenaline in that engine to keep it going strong, and it's getting faster and faster every single time. Then I see Adam Aquino's in here. I'll send my decals for the roll-up door. Cool. And I just messaged Adam. He's we got his is that the new ones in it? Yeah, I'll check here in a minute on the break.
That's going to be like half the show.
Yeah, exactly. But we got Adam's banner in too. So shout out to Adam. We'll get that banner out to you as well. Zach Hall said, put Gasoline Extreme in my 03 Ford Thunderbird, which had a rough idle. Cleared it right up. Good to hear, Zach. Yeah, the Gas Extreme is such a potent cleaner. We actually kind of got in trouble for it because it was too strong. So anything you got like rough idle, those type of things, a lot of times one tank of Gas Extreme and that'll clean you right up. So good to hear. What we got on the featured ride of the week? Well, who's our ride this week? Jeff Corazine. Oh, that's clean. Wow. Clean Ford. Good stance. See, we got the new truck now. We gotta make it stand better. We're sitting too low. But good looking truck there. So thanks to Jeff Corazine, our featured ride of the week. That'll be at the top of our page all week, right?
Yeah, and that's every Sunday, right?
That's when he
when he picks the winner.
9 a.m. now.
Oh, really?
Giving you a few hours, to have it.
Depending on how Friday goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's your chance to, again, put your car, truck, RV, motorcycle. We've seen a few different things
gas,
lately.
diesel, lawnmower.
Benny Levon's scooter thing.
Oh, electric.
His electric scooter, that.
Oh, I should have sent you that video of Brett on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Levon has a mean scooter that we got Brett, our president, wearing down the roads behind the building here. So, all right, what we got next here? Oh, the Protect Your Ride image. Who we got this week? Looks like Brandon B. Looks like it's a two-step diesel extreme EDT. Was that a Duramax?
Duramax?
Yeah, Duramax.
Nice.
So what's that social? That's on our social. You post it on our social media page, tag us, and we share it. Do we know where that's from?
That's from Facebook.
From Facebook.
Wow. Yeah.
They can find him under Brandon B.
Yeah, it's not his whole last name.
So you really didn't want to put his whole last name out there, even though.
Or his IP address. Or
his IP address.
His address and all that, yeah.
But thanks, Brandon. We appreciate it. Two-step fuel. Diesel stream followed by EDT. Hercules back in here says, Hercules runs Hot Shots Secret from the front to the back. Awesome products. Thank you guys for all the support. Yeah, not only does he run the racing oil we're talking about, but trans fluid, gear oil, you name it. And also, a little side note, I'll drop something on Anthony here. Anthony's got a shop back together again, too. So, pumping out some nice rides. So, look to become a dealer of Hot Shot Secret as well. So, not only is he running in his stuff, but he'll make it available at his shop as well. So, looking forward to working with him on that. Terry Howard's a little late with his Hot Shot Secret Thursdays, guys. But he's in like normal. So, let's see. Give our shout out to Steve Summers like we normally do. Our radio program, midnight to 5 a.m., Monday through Friday. You can find that on both app stores, whether you're Android or iPhone. You just search overnightdriveradio.com. You'll find that app. It's a one-touch start every single evening. Or you can also watch it on Facebook and YouTube and every single night as well. And I believe to get a update to that to anybody that might be watching on YouTube, aren't we moving it over off the Hot Shots YouTube over to the Overnight Drive YouTube? So we'd already made that move on Facebook. So for those of you that watch the show on Hot Shots YouTube, we will be making that switch soon. So start following over on the Steve Summers Overnight Drive Radio platform. But that's every Monday through Friday, midnight to 5. Whether it really, it's always been a trucking show, but we also have a lot of listeners that are, moms up late with their kids. We've got third shift workers. We got just night owls. You name it. But live call-in show, so you can always call in and talk to Steve. Chris goes on there once a month. And
I was going to ask, when's he going to be on next?
Well, it's usually the first Friday of the month.
Usually.
So it's coming up. The next one would be August, it looks like then. And I'll tell you, Chris comes on here a couple times, and you might get a little 20, 30 minutes of him. He's on for 5 straight hours on the radio program. So first Friday in August is a good time to check that out. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming with the radio show. We got Chad Hyland on board now, who's oversees the radio program. So we're adding staff just for the radio show itself. So we're really excited about that. How about the In the Loop? That's up your alley, man.
Oh, yeah. Subscribe everywhere to our emails. Stay up to date on all the news and specials, even the ones that Kyle doesn't know about.
Nope, even the ones Levi makes up as he goes.
True. Kind of like blogs we write sometimes. No.
Yeah.
So you can sign up at hotshotsecret.com/email. Simple as that.
There's a lot of slash easy stuff here.
Yeah, we try to make it easy.
Email. Yeah.
And if you have any questions, feel free to call me. If you have a problem with the checkout, you want to hear about it. What's that?
You can give me your digis?
I think it's extension. No.
It's 419. No, just kidding.
Well, you want to hear about problems?
Yeah, we want to fix them.
Oh, you have a checkout issue or
like
something
buggy.
Glitches in the website,
Yeah.
bugs. If it's all Levi's fault if that's the case, so let
That's
him
what
know.
I've been working on all week. No.
But sometimes you need a million eyeballs to find a lot of this stuff. So,
Absolutely.
and Levi doesn't care. He'd be happy to take your call. So, he loves fixing bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? So let's do the giveaway. Let's get that because it's a cool one. All right.
Yeah. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
The winner is JGB19541.
That's something.
That's something. Yeah. Almost difficult.
JGB 19541. If that's you, you just won yourself a banner and a T-shirt.
Yep, hopefully you're
And if you're
medium.
live, like we said, they can always chime in if they're live, and we'll give them a T-shirt.
Yeah, something special.
Find something else.
We'll throw a
around.
hat.
Well, if we have any.
Maybe some oil.
Are we out of stock?
I think we're out of stock of hats.
No, we have. I think we
Yeah, Steve
like
Summers
this.
hat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll give you an outfit. And you can just put the banner on like a cape. So let's go. Let's get into our events. Let's see. So Josh is on the road right now. He's heading out to Lions Motorsports Park in Tennessee with the NTPA Lions Super Bowl of the South. And we have him live?
We have him live.
On literally moving on the road? There he is. I don't know. Do we got volume on him?
Yeah, hold on.
Listeners do. We don't. What's up, Josh?
Doing good, guys. About 50 miles north of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and got a good truck going down to Tennessee.
Cool. You being nice to the new truck?
Yes.
Okay.
Just got done filling it up and gave it 2 ounces of EDT with the fill-up.
Now, who's the weird guy laying down there? Does he think he's out of frame? Because he's not.
I think he does.
Oh,
dear.
Got me.
we don't want to wake him
Glenn
up or anything.
Yeah, he's been sleeping all day. I won't tell on him.
Hey, can you turn
I was
those
trying to stay out of the.
speakers down? So tell us about this weekend, Josh. This is a pretty big NTPA event, right? It's one of the what you call a super national or whatever.
Correct. So it's the top level, and so we got 5 divisions. We got Unlimiteds, which is the 4 and 5 engine tractors, minis, the little 2,050-pound rockets with a supercharged V8 on it. Pro stock tractors, that's the big diesel tractors, 680 cubic inch and a big 5+ inch turbocharger. Super stock diesel tractors, that's the multi-turbocharger diesels, and 4-wheel drive trucks, I believe. So something for everyone. Truck, tractors, modifieds, and the minis.
Cool. And this is a
And expecting up there, sorry, we lost our phone mount. What were you saying, Kyle?
that's good. I thought the truck rolled for a minute. So, so this is a 2-day event. Are they running those classes both days, or is it kind of split between the days? How's that working?
Each class runs both days, so you'll start out and you get to see everything both nights.
Cool.
Friday and Saturday, both at 7 p.m. And Chapel Hill, Tennessee is about an hour south of Nashville off 65.
Yep. With not much lodging nearby, right?
Correct.
That's why he's sleeping on the way.
Yeah, he's catching up now.
It's time for Glenn to drive.
Uh-oh.
So,
Glenn gonna drive.
has Glenn got any of the driving in yet?
Of course not.
He has not.
Okay,
Do you not know Josh by now?
I know. Josh is a semi truck driver in every dream every night, and he vicariously lives it when he gets to go on the road. So, Glenn is one of our new account execs, and he's got some pulling experience himself. So it's good to have him out there. Josh? I already know your favorite class. What's Glenn's favorite class?
I'd have to say modified diesel
Gotcha.
pickup trucks.
Yep. All right. Well.
That and the semi class. The semi class is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I did see a new one last night when I was watching the Firepunk video from their local poll. What was that called, Josh? It was like a hot street class or something, and it was literally like run what you brung street trucks.
Cool. That's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it was cool to watch. So, anything you're gonna have a booth out there? Anything that you want people to come out and give a shout out to what they're gonna see this weekend?
Yeah, so open pits all weekend. So come out, see the vehicles, and come out and see us as well. You'll be able to get samples of EDT, plus we got some good discounts at the booth as well. It's a good time to come stock up on any merchandise or products, or just come out and find out more information as well if you need to know something else.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for calling in from the road, guys. Have a good event down there, and
Yeah, stay dry.
yeah, and I'm sure you guys probably go live a few times this weekend to show everybody the action, so they can stay tuned to Hotshot's Facebook page here.
Absolutely, that's the plan.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, have a good weekend, and we'll be tuning in.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one,
Take
guys.
care of my truck.
How you getting
All
home
right.
now?
I thought he rolled it twice there, man. Scared me. So yeah, another big one. It's man, it was supposed to be our 4th week in a row in Tennessee. Last week we got canceled.
Speaking of the R word, yeah.
Yeah,
Seems to be the word of the year.
I wasn't going to say it. So, but another one coming up. Tennessee is next weekend. Big one. Back to the racing side of things. Outlaw Diesel Super Series, the Rocky Top Diesel Shootout, number 8.
Number 8.
So RLC puts on this event. Shout out to our guy Michael Dalton down there. It's always a good time. That'll be July 30th and 31st. I'll be down there. Diesel Don will be down there. We'll have our vendor booth set up, as long as it makes it home safely with Josh. And and this is a really cool event because it's your normal Outlaw Diesel, but they do some special stuff always down there. It's kind of a Rocky Top party, really. They have a motorcycle stunt show that goes on both Friday and Saturday. These guys are nuts. They go down the track and they'll drive up on the edge walls, and it's nuts. It's pretty cool. And this year they're doing a big gas versus diesel shootout on Friday night, and they've got some really sweet cars locked in. I talked to some of our gas drivers. A couple of them are trying to make it, but they got some insanely fast gas cars locked in. And I'm sitting here thinking, normally we do the pro classes for Outlaw Diesel qualify on Friday, and then they go into the eliminations on Saturday. So normally they don't get in like the shootout on Friday night because they're worried about qualifying. Well, I'm like, as fast as the gas cars are coming, it's got to be the pro guys got to run against them, and sure enough, it is. It's like Shaddy's running, the S10's going to run, Johnny Gilbert's going to run. So the fastest of the fastest diesel guys are going to be out there on Friday night in this gas versus diesel shootout, which is just an extra thing that they throw just for fun for the crowd. So, and I'm pretty sure they do like a concert there too. They have like a country concert each year, maybe Saturday night. I can't quite remember.
Has it been 2 years? Did they have it last year?
Yeah, we did have it last year.
Okay.
We did. That was one that we actually got in last year. You're going to have it come hell or high water. Rocky Top's going to have it. Yep. So looking forward to that. And special shout out to Michael Dalton out there, one of our sponsored racers with the beautiful orange RLC truck. And he'll be down there running the Hot Shot Secret Pro Street class. So we will, of course, be coming live from there and have a nice video made for you. And we should have the update video of we've been following the Pro Street drivers this year. So we'll probably have that out next week leading up into the event so you can catch up on your favorite Hot Shot Secret Pro Street driver. Also next week is the St. Patrick's Day 300.
Wow.
That's kind of weird, huh?
That's not a typo either.
No, it's not. It's not. But that got rained out earlier in the year, but it's a $300,000 race. Let's see, it's a loose rocker race. We are doing we're sponsoring the live feed. It's on Motormania.
Wow.
So that'll be all next weekend as well. And Motormania is completely free. You go to motormaniatv.com, or you can go to their YouTube page and watch all the racing all weekend. And that's the big money bracket racing. And I shouldn't say all weekend. It starts like Tuesday. Those guys race for like 5 days, like big money every single day. So Michael Beard puts that together. We really love Michael Beard. So hope we get a big turnout there. He doesn't need hope. The thing's always packed. They have hundreds of cars that go there. So some cool bracket racing, some diesel drag racing, some pulling, a whole bunch of stuff going on. And then just a peek into August where we start with the Hot Shot Secret Whole Shot Diesel Series, our new West Coast series.
Coast.
I'll be heading out to Colorado the first week of August, and then down to, that's for the, what do they call it? The Diesels on the Mountain, ADS, and then down to Texas for the Texas Truck Jam is the next race the next weekend. So West Coast racing is coming. We've been waiting on it, and it's here. So that'll be the beginning of August, so we're looking forward to that as well. We kind of knocked out some pictures of the visit. Did you go through those?
Yep, we already did.
Cool. All right. So let's get into some of the. Let's see if we get any comments there. You good?
I think we're good. Do we want to slap some of these decals up on the wall while we got them?
I don't know if he knows which ones to slap up or not. That's.
Yeah, I got a pile here.
Well,
I mean, just do a couple here.
One at a time.
Let's do a
or?
couple.
Just do a couple. Yeah, we got to save them. We got to spread them out.
So who are you gonna pick out?
Kyle, how long have you
decal
been
guy.
keeping these?
What's that?
You got a stack here. You keep them for a while.
Yeah, that's sure.
Okay, we got Steve. We're gonna do Steve Summers.
Oh yeah, he's got to get up there.
Yeah. So Steve Summers.
Overnight drivers. You got to go take it over and show the camera. That's the normal.
It's on the,
You know where it is. There you go.
nice.
Shout out to Steve Summers, Overnight Drive.
Straight.
Midnight to 5, Monday through Friday. He's on the board. Who else are you going to pick?
Honey Boo Boo.
Honey Boo Boo. Let's put him up there.
Yeah.
I thought he was. Oh, you know what? I bet he fell down because Carp and Hercules are up there, right up top.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Honey Boo Boo, Michael Dover, and one of my favorite cars ever, the Malibu, known as Honey Boo Boo. There we go. All right, folks, so get your stickers and decals in, whether you're a racer, a dealer, a influencer, one of our retail outlets. We're still missing some retailers. I can't believe they haven't got them in yet. Truck stops. Let's get them in. So as we dive into the racing oil here, if anybody has any racing oil questions, today's a good day. But we often get asked a lot of questions about the racing oil and kind of where it came from and how it started and why on earth did we ever get into racing oil. And we've kind of told the story a couple times this week because PRI is in asking the same question. So just to let people know how this really started, it was never really intended. A few years ago, we were, as everyone knows, we're powered by science. We like to do a lot of testing, put our data out there. And we were at the time doing some testing on our FR3, our friction reducer. And we needed some dyno time. And we got introduced to Firepunk Diesel, who's, what, an hour from here? And they've got an in-house dyno. So, and to be frank, we didn't know Firepunk from anybody. Like, we really didn't know them. Like, and we were told that they're a really, really good transmission diesel shop that has a heck of a race team and haven't had a dyno. So we called them up and asked them to buy some dyno time to get some testing on our FR3 friction reducer. What had happened was we show up there and we told them they're expecting us that we wanted to kind of control the show and, you know, run some private tests on our stuff. And we said, no, we wanted to turn it over to them. We gave them the FR3 and we said, no, we want you guys to test it on your trucks. You guys know your trucks inside and out. We want you to test this product and tell us what you think about it. So at the time, which is kind of funny now because we're obviously work so closely together and such good friends with the guys. At the time, it was really just they kind of were laughing at us. They were like, "Oh, here comes another one of those snake oil companies." But heck, if there's money's green and they want to throw it on our dyno, by all means, go at it. And Levon still tells a story about how I think we put his 06 on the dyno. And that thing, he's got so dialed in, you know, he knew exactly, you know, what it would make. And so we did a baseline of 4 or 5 poles, took an average horsepower of that, and then all we did was pour the FR3 in, let it idle, and then did another 4 or 5 poles. On that average, we averaged about a 3.5% horsepower gain that very first time. And he was stunned, you know, like these are very, you know, fully built, every single thing they could do to these things and to maximize their performance and to get another 3+% horsepower out of just an oil additive being poured in really kind of blew his mind. And so next thing you know, by the end of the day, they're all gathered around the dyno screen, pulling truck in after truck in. I think we did Larson's truck right after that and Landon's truck. And sure enough, each truck, we had a consistent 3 to 5% horsepower gain just by pouring an oil additive in. And so it quickly turned around from oh, here comes some guys that want to buy some dyno time to, holy crap, an oil additive can do this. And Levon's a smart enough guy to know that we're not, and I always like to say this, like we're not inventing that horsepower. This does not create horsepower. This allows the engine to meet and reach horsepower that normally is either lost in drag on the engine or inefficiencies or so forth. So right away, he knew that there was something special in this oil additive that allowed the friction to be reduced enough to free up more horsepower just by pouring it in. So that really started the beginning of the end for us. It really was what started the relationship with Firepunk, and they said, wow, you guys really have something here. They started using it right away. To this day, we still have Firepunk on our FR3 bottles as somebody who trusts and tested and endorses it. And that kind of, at the time, Firepunk was under a contract with another lubricant company as a sponsor. And
We'll name names.
We don't need to name names. And they were pouring our additives in that company's lubricants to improve the lubricants they were using. And Firepunk really challenged us. They said, heck, if you guys can make an additive this good, why don't you guys take a swing at making a racing oil? Well, we were already making Blue Diamond oil at the time. We did have some engine oils, but we didn't have any gear oil or transmission fluid or any racing oil. And but we took on the challenge. This is right when we started getting into diesel drag racing with the NHRDA.
True.
Outlaw Diesel Super Series.
Some of the UCC, yeah.
UCC, and nobody knew us at the time. I mean, you know, it's a lot of the guys that knew us from the trucking side, on the over-the-road type of stuff knew us, but as far as the performance side, I remember those first years trying to give EDT away for free, and people were like, I'm good, thanks. You know, and it's like now we go out to events and sell our booth out every time, you know, so it's really come a long way, but we do give a lot of credit to Firepunk for kind of pushing us to go that direction. So within a year, we had developed, which is our adrenaline racing oil. To fast forward to the end of the story, they then said, well, you've come this far, why don't you finish the lineup up? So within the following year, we had developed our adrenaline racing transmission fluids and gear oil. So now we have a full line, head to toe of racing fluids. What was really neat in the process was what we do here at Hot Shots and the way we formulate products doesn't really change. We've always been a problem-solving company. We use zero fillers. We use the best ingredients, for lack of a better term, that we can find, and we're always looking for new technology and new lubricant technology. So I think we took a different approach to building a racing oil than the average company would have. A lot of them look at it as a, well, they look at it as a moneymaker, something like an ad, which we don't make much money off this stuff. It's pretty expensive to make the formulas we make. But we took a lot of our knowledge from over-the-road stuff and kind of brought it in. So let's start with basically what's in this stuff. Like let's how we built this oil. And again, we put all this out there. There's nothing to hide. We have virgin oil analysis, which I wish I would have grabbed. I know most of it though, to walk you through it. But first and foremost, you got your base oils and you got your additives in any oil package. Well, what makes ours unique compared to any other racing oil out there is that we're using a pure Group 4 polyalpha olefin base oil. Now, for those that watch us a lot, you probably heard us talk about groups of oils, the different types of groups of oils, and maybe what's the difference. You want to give them a quick recap of? Oh, hey, I told you I was going to make you deliver today. So, a quick recap of the difference between a Group 2, 3, and 4 oil.
I'm trying to think of a quick recap. It's probably episode 79 or something that we drew on the whiteboard with.
We did a whole breakdown of groups of oil.
Long story short, like a true PAO is 100% synthetic, man-made. If you can imagine some of the particles like ball bearings, I know Chris likes to tell a story. They're pretty much like even particles, so
Identical.
which allows identical, as opposed to like a Group 2 or 3. Group 3 is semi-synthetic, which most people know is like synthetic.
But it's not.
Long story short, yeah, a true PAO doesn't really break down, shear, go out of grade.
Good.
That's kind of the layman's version.
You nailed it. That's right.
Somewhere between Chris and Kevin.
No, but you nailed it. That's right. So as we all look at it, a Group 2 is just your conventional oil, which is just a couple drops away from the crude barrel of oil before it's been refined very much. So what Levi's talking about, the carbon chain in there that's, under a microscope, it's very irregular. There's all sorts of different sized molecules, which tends to allow it to break very easily. You can break that carbon chain really easily, and that's your oil shearing. That's coming out of grade. So now your 50 weight racing oil is now a 40 weight after one pass because you broke those chains, and it's no longer holding its viscosity. The Group 3, which is what the world calls a synthetic, is not really a synthetic oil. So I sometimes confuse people about this, but if you go into your auto part shop and you look up at the wall of oil and you see your conventional oil, your semi-synthetic oil, and then your synthetic oils, every single bottle in that shop that says synthetic, not a single drop of that is synthetic oil. It's a Group 3. We tend to call it synthetic, and the long, short story behind that is that years ago, when it actually was a Group 4 synthetic, I did learn from Chris, Castrol. I always wonder which company it was, but I heard him say that this weekend. So Castrol was the first one that they finally said, we're just going to make a Group 3 and call it synthetic. This went all the way to the Federal Trade Commission. You can Google this stuff. It's a crazy court
Wikipedia.
case. Wikipedia. And the Federal Trade Commission said, we're not going to get involved in what you guys call oil. We're not lubricant experts. Call it whatever you want. And boom, that day, this was in the 90s, the oil game changed. And everybody stopped even, this is right when PAOs were first introduced, truly synthetic man-engineered oil. And they just disappeared, because why go through all that trouble, all that expense, if I can call a more highly refined dinosaur oil synthetic? And so from that day, everything you see on the shelf that calls synthetic is not synthetic. It is still just a conventional oil that is more highly refined. In doing that higher refinement, they get those molecules down to a more consistent pattern. That makes it a lot more difficult to break that chain, that carbon chain. So yes, it can last longer. That's why when you go to your Jiffy Lube oil change and you could opt for the upgraded synthetic oil change, that oil will last longer before it starts to come out of grade than your conventional or your 1995 oil change. But when we talk about Group 4 PAOs, polyalpha olefins, that is truly a man-engineered oil structure. So we have the capability of getting into that molecular structure and keeping that carbon chain absolutely identical all the way across, which makes it very difficult for any part of that chain to break, because there's no...
almost impossible.
It's virtually impossible. I mean, we can't say impossible, but we've never seen it happen. Like, science has not been able to break it yet, like in the lab. So theoretically, it can never break. This is also why we can do ridiculously long intervals on a PAO.
Now, as long as you keep it clean.
That's right. And so that's where we took that technology. And I should say, there are some companies, there are some brands out there that do use some PAO, but they generally use, well, they won't even tell you, but it's less than 5% to put in it just to strengthen the oil package a little bit. But we're using pure 100% PAO, not a drop of Group 3 or Group 2 conventional-based oil. This we have a lot of experience with. So when we got challenged to make a racing oil, we took a unique approach that the average company wouldn't take, in that we looked at what we were doing with our over-the-road truckers with the Blue Diamond, which the Blue Diamond, we have had a PAO out for a long time. And the reason why we do it is because we have truckers that want to go extended intervals. So they can, on our Blue Diamond, go 50, 100. We've had 200,000-mile trucks on the same oil. And that reason is because the PAO will not break down. Now, as Levi said, it's not just that easy. We have to run a bypass filter on it to keep it clean. We got to do oil analysis regularly. We have a unique product called TBN Booster, which brings up the detergent package and the base level of the oil. So there's some more to it. But the oil itself will not shear. So the fact that we had years of experience with that type of base oil, when we decided to formulate a racing oil, that's the first thing we went to. Because what we found is, working with a lot of our race teams, these guys with insane horsepower, like Bill Lutz is over 5,000 horsepower. You know, I mean, it's like
gas car, yeah.
It's insane what he can put down. Well, he can shear an oil in an eighth mile as quick as a truck takes 30,000 miles to wear down an oil. So we just said, hey, why don't we use that same technology we're using in the PAO with the big rigs and everything, put it as the starting point of our racing oil, and that's what you got. So each one of our racing oils.
Kind of like the old Blue Diamond I remember back in the day. That was before CK4 even. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like an outlaw oil at the time.
Right.
14 TBN. And so we already had the technology.
Right. So we just kind of use that technology in a different way. And now our engine oil, our transmission fluids, and our gear oils, all on the Adrenaline side, our racing lineup, every single one of them starts with a pure 100% PAO base. So I hope that makes sense, because that's the building block of building this oil in the first place. Nobody else in the industry is doing that, and what we're effectively doing is we're taking shearing off the table for these racers and these pullers. They do not have to worry about it. No matter what they do to that oil, it's going to be, if it starts out at 50 weight, it's going to be a 50 weight. They could beat it up all they want, short of diluting it with like alcohol or something, you know.
True.
If you dilute it, you're obviously going to change viscosity, but you are not going to be able to shear the oil out of grade. So it's just one element we take off the table. It's one sense of relief for a race team to worry about.
Now, to keep it moving, we add some things to that, right? To the base oil and the additive packages. And
We had some really good stuff.
yeah, I think one starts with an A.
What is it?
I was serving it up.
Antimony.
Yeah,
Yep. So,
just testing.
oh, were you just testing me? Okay. Well, let's start with something with a Z.
Oh, zinc.
Zinc. Zinc's the first thing people always ask me about oil, with racing oil. It's the first thing I hear every single time. And the way I like to explain the zinc is, if you don't know a lot about oil or racing oils, usually it's the first go-to thing they look for. How much zinc's in it? How much zinc's in it? Zinc is a very good anti-wear agent. It's excellent at doing that job. Most commonly used is what's called ZDDP, which is a phosphorus-based zinc. So if you were to look at an oil analysis of virtually any racing oil out there, you would see very high level of zinc as well as phosphorus, because it's kind of a ZDDP is a blend. You can actually buy that off the shelf. You can go buy yourself a bottle of ZDDP. Be careful. People think you can pour a bunch in and it's good, but too much goes backwards. But we've actually gone a different route. We actually use a sulfur-based zinc, which also is why our oil kind of smells weird. Well, we'll admit it smells weird.
Yeah.
But it's the price of a good oil, you know.
Science.
Yeah, so it's got a weird smell to it, but that's because it's got a sulfur-based zinc in it. The reason why we use that is because it's a better type of zinc. So when you look at one of our oil analysis, that's how we can blindly tell in an analysis if it's our racing oil or not, because you'll never see zinc levels that high without any phosphorus levels, because normally they come together with ZDDP. So we could technically use a lot less zinc in our oil than the average racing oil out there that's using ZDDP, but we also are conscious that people aren't necessarily that educated all the time on what's in an oil, and we didn't want to say, you know, I believe like Amsoil Dominator runs about 1,500 parts per million ZDDP, and then you'll see that in the zinc. We could beat that protection with about 1,000 parts per million of our zinc, but we didn't want to have that look like it was less zinc in the oil. So, like we do all the time when they're in the lab formulating stuff, and Chris comes in and says, can you put more in? Can you put more in? Can you put more in? They did. So all of our racing oils carry about 3,000 parts per million zinc, and not just zinc, but the sulfur-based zinc. So I don't know a single oil out there that is that high in zinc, let alone the type of zinc we're using. So that's the start of that. Following that is a huge dose of calcium. You're looking at about 2,000 parts per million calcium. And then what was your A word?
Antimony.
Antimony. Antimony is a very special chemical. It is probably the most expensive chemical you can use in building a protection package in an oil. That's why very few companies use it. And those that do are usually run about 5 or 10, 15 parts per million in there, just to strengthen the package a little bit. We run 1,000 parts per million plus. The last analysis I just saw today was there's 1,100 parts per million in there. So we're dumping a ton of antimony in our racing oils. And what antimony does, it's a great anti-wear on its own, but it like forms like Voltron with zinc and supercharges it. So you can actually get away with a smaller amount of zinc, but we use the better type of zinc. We use twice as much of it, and then we put about 100 times as much antimony to even bond with it to make it that much better. Wow. So that's the second part of it. So now we have a base oil package that won't shear. We've got an additive package that is going to give you the best anti-wear you can possibly have. And then what's the kicker on top that we put in every single bottle?
FR3, of course.
FR3.
Friction reducer.
Friction reducer. That's what started this whole circle for us. When we started doing FR3 testing with Firepunk, like we said, initially you see that gain right away. We see that the wear reduction, it's a nanocarbon technology, microscopic little carbon balls that will get into the engine through the oil. It will find any void in the engine, whether that's a machine void on a brand new engine, or if it's some wear on the engine that's been used a little bit, and it will find those and fill those little crevices to give you a flat film layer, because that's the most important thing in lubrication that we're looking for. Is the flatter the film layer is, the easier it is to build a nice film layer off of it. So the nano lubricant in there then goes on top of that, and it just reduces wear tremendously. It's usually 42% over when added to any oil we see, or
43%.
43%.
More or
See?
less, yeah.
You know your number, good. So we're adding that nanocarbon technology on top of a ridiculous additive package, on top of a strong base oil that won't shear. And that's where we come up with what I strongly believe is the best racing oil ever engineered. Now, it came from a little old diesel trucking company that started making lubricants, just a few years back. But the truth of the matter is we've always been into efficiency, and the unique side of that is the power that we make and all that everybody enjoys from our performance, our racing side of it. It's the same thing. Adding efficiency to an engine, letting it run with less resistance equals more power. So the power is just a byproduct of it. And the real gem at the end of it, what we enjoy the most, is the fact that we're reducing wear on the engine, and that keeps our racers on the track all year.
Oh yeah, like the Firepunk S10, for example.
And what we had 199 passes on that brand new engine, prototype, never been built before. D&J built the Executioner. First year we threw it in, they beat on that thing, trying to figure it out for the first year.
Yeah.
Beat on it, 99 passes, and I think 22 dyno pulls.
Wow.
And if you guys haven't seen the video of Drew at D&J tearing the engine down at the end of the year, it finally failed at the end of the year, but it was a valve, it was a lifter.
True.
On it, so it wasn't even really a lubrication issue. But they opened up that engine, and those bearings looked brand new. I mean, they still had the dial bore gauge honing mark on it from when they measured and dropped them in. So they went 100 passes without the bearing ever making touch any with metal at all, which is just, and then 3,200 horsepower Cummins engine is pretty darn impressive. So those are the type of real world results that we love to see.
And that's what I love to hear too, like the real world, not just the top end example, but also the guy like bracket racing, maybe.
I'm sure.
Where they can hot lap.
Speaking of the bracket racers, those guys put so many runs in too. We see a lot of heat reduction.
Absolutely.
And those guys are trying to run a consistent time, so there's an advantage to them just with the heat reduction that we have on them. It allows the engine to, a lot of those guys have to dial out around, how quickly was their last pass, and we hear all the time that they can remain more consistent with their runs, and those guys race so much. They get so many runs in it on the weekend. There's so many passes on the engine that to keep them on the track all year is really, and that's what we really like. We really like to know that we're preserving an engine, for the long haul. It's a big investment. We know our racers spend tons of money on this stuff, so it's I get it.
And that's the world I come from, bracket racing. So that's why I love to hear like the little guys racing on the weekend. They might only change their oil once or twice a year, depending. And then when they get down to the finals, though, that's when they're really putting the stress on the engine, trying to dial it in. There's extra heat, not getting much time in between runs, so not just the amount of races per week, but the amount of passes per weekend. It's kind of unbelievable.
It is, and one of the updates we want to say, we just had an article published yesterday.
Oh, right. Can't forget about that.
No, from Diesel Army. It was a really good article from
Is that Artie?
Artie Maupin wrote it. To give it a little background to it. A lot of you know Scheid Diesel. Dan Scheid's been a legend in the industry.
Godfather of diesel, yeah.
Yep, and shout out to Scheid Diesel and my buddy Jared, who drives that dragster, which I just have so much respect for guys who drive dragsters, because there's no way you'd ever catch me in one of those things.
Yeah, I've heard they're pretty easy to drive, though.
They say that.
Maybe not that one.
I ain't going to learn. I'm cool watching. They scare me to death. But But for forever, well, Jarrett's held the record, the fastest diesel in the world. And I think they got down to 4.04 last year in the dragster at the end of the season.
Eighth mile. Yeah.
Eighth mile, yep.
That's still pretty ridiculous.
Oh, it's insane. Insane. Well, and now we know that the Firepunk S10 did hit the 399, so they're the first of the three. They're really excited about it. They did it in a door car. But I'll tell you what, that dragster has the capability to jump into those three. So one of the things that, and I love Dan and Jared to death, and towards the end of last season's Outlaw Diesel Series, I'm really proud of all the racers that represent our products, and we were fortunate enough to have a lot of champions last year. So from ET, 770, 670, 590, Pro Street, and Pro Mod, all Outlaw Diesel champions were running Hot Shot Secret racing oil.
Wow.
So just in a few years, we had gone to nobody knowing us in the industry to having the podium of every single champion of every single class running our oil.
So if anything else, we don't even have to talk about the science or what's Group 4, the molecule change.
The proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
Yep, and we're trusted by the top racers. But there was one class. There's one class that wasn't using our oil. And that was the Shy Diesel Dragster. So I was like, man, and he's defending champion of the class, and so I really kind of bugged Shy Diesel that I'd love to work with them, and fortunately Dan contacted me over the off season and said he'd like to give it a shot. He'd like to see what it can do. And if any of you guys know Dan Scheid, he is a man who has figured out everything before anybody else has. He was figuring stuff out well before people were even in this industry. So he's been a pioneer in that aspect. So I was happy to be able to try to bring our latest technology to him and see what he thought. And it was kind of reminded me back in the day when this all started. I was like, it's fun to just send somebody who really knows what they're doing our products and say, put them on your dyno and let me know what you think. And I remember getting a call back from Dan telling me his results, and he said that he put it on, did his normal pulls, and he's got that dragster and his dyno dialed in exactly what to expect, and he pulled 60 horsepower gain just by switching over to the adrenaline oil. And he even mentioned that I was on they usually don't pull on it hot after they've done a pull, but they did another pull pretty quickly right after just because they couldn't believe it was a 60 horsepower gain, and we're pulling 40 horsepower. So consistently between 40 and 60 horsepower gain just simply from an oil change. That was the only difference from the oil he's been using for 25, 30 years, and which he had said, he never really had a problem. That's why he never really looked around, So, but it had become that time that they were taking the dragster to a level that was going well beyond where they ever expected it to many years ago. So he was open to looking at some of the newer technology, and I'm fortunate he did. As the story tells you, we're now running the adrenaline in the Shy Diesel Dragster. We're doing regular oil analysis for them. They've all come back looking very good so far, and happy to now try to get my clean sweep. I want my sweep, but more importantly, he's got the horsepower. I mean, a 60 horsepower right there by itself.
That's a pretty decent percentage, right?
Well, yeah, and he should already be getting to those threes anyways. So I would expect that Shy Dragster to get the record back probably and dive into the threes when they get the opportunity. This year's been tough. But you know what? Guess what's coming next weekend? Rocky Top. Watch out. The Shy Diesel Dragster will be there.
True.
Jared's going to be dialed in, so and Dan will have the dragster ready. So just a really cool story, and I want to thank Diesel Army for putting that article out as well, kind of telling the story of Dan testing our oil. So and just happy to be part of the Shy Diesel race team. That's what we do here. Is we really like to work with our racers. It's a two-way street for us. We're not a company that has a huge budget that's able to spend a lot of money on these big R&D, we don't have a stadium named after us or anything.
Not yet.
But what we do have is we got a lot of passion here. We got a lot of guys that want to work with these teams, and it allows us to advance our R&D. And at the end of the day, the stuff that we learn on the racetrack and prove through these products trickle down to the FR3 that we have on the shelf at your local, AutoZone or O'Reilly's. If it works in these high performance vehicles, I'm telling you, it's going to work in your everyday driver. And I encourage you to go try a bottle of FR3. It's the same FR3 that we have out there on the shelf, or that you can buy off our website or our dealers, is the same stuff we're blending into our racing oil. So it's, like I always say here, we're really like lab formulated, we're dyno tested, and then we're like track proven. And then that all comes back to a quality product for your everyday driver, which is really what this is all about at the end of the day. So
Absolutely. We have diesel oil and Euro oil, which I'm excited about.
And that Euro oil is is an SN spec. I know somebody just asked a question about if we have a 50 weight oil for gasoline. I should mention, when we're talking racing oil, we have a 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 alcohol weight. So when it comes to racing oil, this is gas or diesel friendly. It's whether you're running diesel or alcohol or E85, on a non-emissions vehicle, the oil doesn't care what the engine's doing on the emission side. So when it comes to a race car, it's all the same for the racing oil. Only when you're looking at your daily driver that's got a catalytic converter or a DPF on it. Brian Fennell says, adrenaline oils have saved our engines in an overheat situation in endurance racing several times, convinced no other oil could have withstood the abuse we put them through. Hashtag Battlescarred Motorsports. Those are our guys down south that run Battlescarred Motorsports, endurance race team that puts veterans in these cars, and they do deal with problems because these aren't $1 million race cars they're racing. But we're happy to sponsor them, and they run of all our fluids in there too. Fred Johnson said, definitely seen lower oil temps using the adrenaline oil. So good to hear that. We hear that quite a bit. And Terry Harrod says, yay for the FR3. It's the golden standard. It really is. It's really the secret behind a lot of this stuff. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, you can post them. We'll try to follow up later and on anything like that. And I'll let you close out the show since you're a special guest. Well, I got a question for you, though.
Uh-oh.
You made episode 150. When do we see you next?
I was going to say see you in 50 episodes.
Is it 200?
Uh-huh.
That's like a year. It's like once a year.
That's what I do. Just come on once a year.
How about like 222?
Maybe I'll jump in as a surprise one day.
Okay, but guaranteed 200.
Guaranteed.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, guaranteed 200.
Guaranteed.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for watching. Have a good week. Check for Josh this weekend. He's going to be out the NTPAs. He'll be going live for you. Next weekend will be Rocky Top. I'll be out down there in Tennessee. And I'm sure Levi will come up with some special soon. Maybe some Christmas in July?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. All right.
So sign up for the newsletter. Text messages, all that.
Yep. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you next week. Thursday, 1:30 p.m. every week.